I know that Joe Burrow said that he would play for whatever team drafted him and things like that. But for some reason, there are still humans talking about the chance of him saying, I want to go elsewhere. Do I think Joe Burrow would do that? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't know why people are still potentially talking about that. When there's smoke, what is there?
Typically fire.
There's fire. And maybe this is everybody speaking for. We had Jordan Palmer here. He said nothing to the likes of that, who's coaching him. Joe Burrow said nothing to the likes of that. But there's still humans that are talking about this conversation. I'm sure if I'm a Bengals fan, I'm not happy about these conversations happening at all because Joe Burrow would be the perfect face of the franchise that is the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, do they have a full scouting department like every other NFL team? From what I've heard, absolutely not. Do they have an indoor facility like every other NFL team? From what I've heard, they do not. Do they travel probably in luxurious fashion? If you put those two things together, probably not. Is their food good? Probably not. There's nothing really about the Cincinnati Bengals that are outside of football, right? Everything else that you kind of have to be a part of whenever you're a part of a team. From what I've been told and what I've heard, the Cincinnati Bengals are number 32 out of 32 teams, even counting the teams that were playing in baseball stadiums, from what I've been told. Now, I could be wrong. The Bengals fans don't deserve this slander of saying that it's their fault if somebody doesn't want to play for the Bengals because they are a great fan base. They choose to cheer for a team that is run terribly. And I think that is something that everybody kind of understands at this point. Is Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Bengals, the man who was trying to win last year, who ended up losing more than a team that was allegedly attempting to tank? Is he going to be a good head coach? Nobody knows. He was with Sean McVay 1 year, and all of a sudden he gets a head coaching gig. Then he stinks, benches Andy Dalton on his birthday, and then they kind of move forward. Are the Bengals a franchise with Joe Burrow there that can all of a sudden turn it around and become an elite franchise? Maybe. Joe Burrow feels to have that swag and that confidence that lifts everybody else in his room. An Ohio kid who's already raised over $500,000 for the people of Ohio. Going back home and turning a franchise from an outhouse to a penthouse operation. But let's say Joe Burrow does go there and his people, we talked to Jordan Palmer. Jordan Palmer is currently coaching him. He told us nothing, but his people, whoever it is like, we don't want to go here. We want to go to a winning franchise, a place that actually cares about its team and actually cares about them winning. Now, if that happens, the Carolina Panthers would obviously be the place that everybody expects them to go to because Joe Brady, who turned Joe Burrow from a 15 touchdown throwing guy to a 60 touchdown throwing guy. I mean, that jump with Joe Brady's addition and Jordan Palmer's addition into his life was a massive one. Now that Joe Brady's at the Panthers, I think it's very easy for people to say, like, Joe Burrow is going to want to reconnect with that guy that made him very good and made him a much better player. Would that ever happen? So sorry to interrupt. If you're a man watching this, you deserve to have long, great. And you can do that now with our friends at Roman. Right now, you go to GetRoman.com. You get $10 off and free 2-day shipping on Roman swipes, which are guaranteed to make you have longer, more fulfilling every time you get in a sack. Now, let's get back to the fornicating action. Would the Cincinnati Bengals get better with Cam Newton? I think so. Cam Newton's a guy, if he's healthy, can dominate a game. He can run, he can throw, he can do it all. He's older, he's been banged up. Would he be a guy that could turn around the Bengals? I think so. But is that something that Joe Burrow would want to do in 2020? That is what we're all waiting for Las Vegas for the draft to find out.
The one reason why it makes sense is Cam is hell of a bargaining chip. If Cam is healthy, Cam is very good, and he is known. I mean, we all think Joe Burrow is going to be great, but you know how good Cam Newton is in the NFL.
The only knock on Cam Newton is that he didn't go hard for a fumble.
Yeah.
Right?
It's been downhill since then.
And that, literally, he totaled his truck. I mean, there's just been a lot of things about Cam Newton that people all associate with that one fumble in the Super Bowl that he didn't go hard enough for. Then the press conference afterward, they're like, well, he didn't handle that professionally. And then he got hurt. Then this, then this. It's just like all these things have kind of started stacking up on Cam Newton. If Cam Newton is the type of human we all think he is, he's going to have a massive chip on his shoulder if he's healthy again and want to reprove himself with a new system, whether it's in Carolina with Matt Rule and Joe Brady, or if it's in any of these other places that he could potentially go to, the Chicago Bears, any team that could potentially bring him in. I think Cam Newton's going to be a game changer next year, and I'm excited for it. Is Joe Burrow going to be great in the NFL? I think so. Tiny hands, but I think he's going to be